Hello and welcome to episode 63, I guess, of the Husky Barbu podcast. This is Husky Barbu in question, Ariel, speaking to you. Hoping that you've had a wonderful week and that everything is going well with your families, with your jobs, or the things that you do that you love, that you even get the chance to do the things that you want and the things that you love, and hoping that a better tomorrow is awaiting for us just around the corner. I hope that you're doing all well. Me, I'm better than I've been these past months. I mean, I don't want to start these podcasts with downers, but I just tend to shoot from the hip or shoot from the heart where I am at the moment and being truthful and honest and sincere. And this past week was rough in the sense that, as you all know, I'm living in the States now. I'm physically far away from my wife and daughter, who are everything to me, that mean the whole world to me. And being far away from them is hard, to say the very least. So this has been a difficult journey so far, but lately, during the weeks, during the few days, there hasn't been any change in the particulars of our situation. I still have to do what I got to do, and hopefully one day I can, be more broader and more specific as to the events leading up to my girls actually starting living here. But I've had to do a lot of soul searching. I mean, last week I was talking about, going through my issues with my faith and not believing everything, believing some things, believing that there is a God, but I'm having problems with the people that he chose to work for him. And taking my own advice about the seed, the good seed and the bad seed, the parable from last week. I'm kind of taking my own advice in that subject, and in terms that, we're going to have, just because we believe the certain same thing, that doesn't mean that we are on the same boat. Because I don't know the heart of every human being. I don't know what every other human being is thinking, what every other human being is going through their mind and their hearts and souls and whatnot. I don't know. I simply don't know. So I can't say this or that. All I can answer is for myself. All I can do is answer for myself. And I know I haven't been a good Christian. What with me cussing the storms that I do and going through the things that I do and say the things that I say and think the things that I think. I'm not 100% there. Does that mean that I have to be always 100% there? Well, for the religious people, yeah, but I'm not living this life for to appease a religious group and fulfill their watchdog influences and their checklist of what a good Christian should be in their criterias in their eyes, because I don't answer to them. I answer, in my belief, to the Almighty, and they can all, going back to the bad Christian things, and I'm sorry, but they can all go suck a dick. Water reset. Just a moment for me to take a chug of water. Fine quality H2O. Anyway, last week I was saying that I was probably going to go see, or that I was going to see the Batman. I couldn't because reasons. I'm going to try to do so this weekend. So no Batman, or no the Batman review for this podcast. Sorry for those of you who are in the edge of your seat waiting for something to be reviewed in a geeky manner. No geeky news, no geeky manner. And I apologize. I mean, I normally would be more geeky. Like, for example, this weekend I did see the AEW Revolution pay-per-view, which I totally loved. I digged from top to bottom. I don't think there was a bad match in the whole pay per view. All of them were good. All of them were great. All of them gave solid review. The pay per view was long as hell, but every match was worth it. Everybody killed it. So kudos to everybody. Got to see the CM Punk retro CM Punk get his match versus MJF and doing his old Ring of Honor entrance with his old Ring of Honor theme song. So that was cool. He really enjoyed it, and at the press conference afterwards, he was crying because he was happy that he gets to love wrestling again. So I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for AEW for the good success of that pay-per-view. It was a great pay-per-view, but I'm not going to talk about that. The thing that hit home, and I already mentioned CM Punk, is that, he reverted back to his Ring of Honor. I mean, even to the point that he used the same jacket he will use to get into the ring, the same shorts he used to wrestle. They were all white. So we got like a classic CM Punk kind of deal with a mix of the modern CM Punk. And that kind of, pull a chord in me. And I know the wrestling is scripted. So let's suspend disbelief here for a moment. It's scripted. Is the result? The outcome is it's known between the participants, and all of them are willing participants, and also are the fans are willing participants of the show, suspending their disbelief and just acting accordingly. Like, let's all pretend everybody is in the know, and knowing that this is all of us are playing here pretend, knowing that this is not true. This is not a real event, in the sense that that these moves are going to really harm. They're consciously making a physical performance in front of everybody, and I've now explained or gave away kayfabe to those two of you that still didn't know what that is. Being that as it may, and knowing that wrestling is a scripted show, much like basically every show is a scripted show, and I stand by that. Whether you want to debate it, that's your opinion. But more like every other show is a scripted show. But the thing is, although it's scripted, it's telling you something. It's conveying a story. It's conveying a narrative. And the narrative is that CM Punk had to revert to his old persona from Ring of Honor in order to do away with the dastardly, evil, maniacal, diabolical MJF. And that he finally was able to best MJF by being his true self, by digging deep to the guy that he was 20-something years ago. And that narrative, I find it prophetic, because I guess that's what I have to do. I have to go dig deep and see if that guy that I used to be is still there. You see, back 20 years ago, a little more than 20 years ago, I was reeling from the death of my mother, who passed away from cancer. And that took me to a dark place. And being a snot-nosed brat that didn't know how to deal with things, and also add to the fact that I'm an introvert, so talking to someone to my pain was out of the question. I did what I normally do. I lock myself within myself and find basement upon basement upon basements of layers that I can go down to and not share my pain with others, and just lock myself in. But in that particular juncture, I found out that I had some darkness in me, that I was not quite aware that who I was back then. Now, granted, this is not anything extreme, like I didn't start doing hardcore drugs or anything like that, but my demeanor certainly changed. I became a more aggressive person, but I didn't have no north. I didn't have no direction. I had no way of knowing where to go. I only pushed myself to being me, to being myself. The only thing that I knew was to, that old Shakespeare saying, "This above all, to thy own self be true." So I was doing that. Above all, I was being truthful to myself and not letting bullshit permeate into my soul. So I was horribly, horribly honest to myself, to the point that I was able to look deep down inside my soul and recognize the darkness that was in there. Not so much because of the death of my mother, but also recognizing there's some dark shit in me that was unaddressed. That right now it doesn't pertain to the conversation or the subject matter that we're talking about. It's just that I acknowledged that there was some dark shit in me, and I was not afraid to show said darkness and show the inner asshole that was me to the world. And I had zero fucks to give, and I did not care who got to see the fucking asshole in me. And pretty much the whole world got to see and got to suffer the asshole at that time, for better or for worse. Now, does this mean that I want to revert to being that asshole? Hell no. There's a lot of things of that asshole that I never want to see back. He was quite an asshole, and I mean, I'm pretty much an asshole with this persona that I have now. But that one did it maliciously. This one is like aloof. The person I am is I'm aloof to the assholeness that I spread outside, because I don't do it with malicious intent. I just do it out of being an introvert and people misinterpreting me. Back then, I did not give a flying single fuck what people thought about me, and I don't do that much either. But at least now it's like, well, I don't mean to be an asshole, and I don't want to be an asshole, and I don't want to mistreat people. I try to, like, if people are running out the door, I try to hold the door for them. Doesn't matter, male or female, anybody. I try to hold the door for them. Try to, doing the right thing for others, for myself, for people who are around me. Doing the right thing, basically. That's it. But one thing I do miss about that guy, the one thing that I can take away from that guy from 20 years ago, that dark being that I was, is that he had zero fear, because he had nothing to lose. He really had nothing to lose, because he was like, if I fail or I succeed in life, I don't give a shit, because there's nothing means nothing anymore. There's like, everything is meaningless. And everything was like, and I didn't have particularly enough faith in myself to imagine myself that I would have a significant other. And at that time, I look at myself and say, wow, look at the shitty job that I had, the place that I lived. Notice that I'm not saying anything negative about the place that I live, because that's neither here or there. That's not particular to the point. The point is that I was in a shitty place in life back then. But then I see the changes that have happened in 20 years. And yeah, I'm still kind of douchey. I'm still kind of an asshole. And I'm still kind of a recluse. Maybe even more so now than ever. But at least now I have a north, because now I have a wife and a daughter. Something that at that time seemed impossible, because I thought, like, how the hell am I going to get married? Like, who the hell would want to spend their life with me? Well, apparently I must have conned this person very well, my wife, because I managed not only to get almost 15 years of marriage so far. But I also managed to get an almost 11-year-old daughter out of the relationship. And to this point in my life, and I would say also in the future, they are my crowning achievements, because the fact that I'm married, the fact that a person decided to spend their lives with me is the definition of a miracle to me. Because I'm an asshole, and I know I am one. And I don't mean to be one. It's just that I'm wired this way. I'm hardwired this way. And if I'm able to change that situation, a difference between 20 years from the asshole that I was then to the asshole that I am now, well, let's call asshole 2.0. Because 20 years has gone by. Anyway, get lost in that joke for a minute. I'll let you there navigate that joke for a minute. And it's corny as hell, I know. Chug of water. Anyway, so this long ass winded story is to explain a point. 20 years ago, I was in a spot that I thought that I was never going to get out of. And then now I look at where I am now. Yeah, I'm not with my daughter, and I'm not with my wife, but I have them. Something changed. Something changed. And then when I think about the things that I did in order to get where I am right now, I was acted fearless. I fell in love with this girl. Didn't hesitate to tell her how I felt. Didn't hesitate for a second to let her know what I felt for her. When fucking head first, dove myself in with no parachute, fearless, totally fucking fearless, and got what I wanted. Which is not saying that she's a conquest, because it's not a conquest. Because if it were a conquest, then a pile of girls would just be on the side. But that's not me. When I went for a girl, I wanted for something permanent. I wanted a family. You gotta understand. Like, I have goals and ambitions in life, but the biggest ambition I've ever wanted, like, you have to understand. My mother, God rest her soul, she wanted me to be a Catholic priest. And I remember as a kid, corny as hell moment coming. Apologize in advance if you find this ugh. But here it comes. And it's truth, because it's what happened. When I was a kid, I used to put like all my action figures, like Batman, He-Man, Transformers, Lionel, Thundercats, everyone, G.I. Joes, lined them up in rows, took these little wafer and like root beer, and used that like the elements to consecrate, for Holy Communion. And put a towel over myself and played a priest. And my mom was super stoked when she see me playing a priest. She was like, "Oh my God, my son was a baby." Because you have to understand, my mother is like if you look in the picture of a Catholic woman and you Google that, I'm sure my mom should show up, because that's what my mom was. She was the ultimate Catholic woman. And I remember, I think I was 5 or 6. When I was doing this, and she asked me, like, "Oh my God, your son, do you want to be a priest?" I'm like, "Hell no." I don't believe I said hell no. I was like, "No, I don't want to be." But I saw you playing with the toys, and that you were giving the community. Like, yeah, because I do like God. I was like, yeah, I like God, but I want to get married, and priests can't get married. So I tell this story because ever since I was a kid, I want the biggest dream, because I always knew there was something wrong with me. Like the way people treated me, people talked to me like I was fucking slow. It's just, I always got this negative vibe that I was not understood. And it's not that I wasn't all there on top. It's just that I'm not expressive. I'm not a person that goes out there and be the open book to everybody. I am an open book. It's just that fucking small talk bores the hell out of me. I rather go to the nitty gritty, and I rather go to the meat and not just talk about bullshit that is none important. Like when I hear people talking about like celebrities, I'm like, do you actually want to waste saliva and brain matter and time talking about people who do not give a fuck about you, who wouldn't tell the day, or wouldn't even matter to you, to them, because you don't exist to them. Literally, they don't know you exist, and you're talking about people just because they're famous. The only difference between us and them is that they're fucking loaded. That's the only fucking difference. And after that, I don't know their personal lives, and I do not give a shit. I mean, I got enough shit with my own fucking things. Now I have to be thinking about whatever this asshole is doing with his personal life. I don't give a shit. Let him deal with this shit. I gotta deal with my shit. Like, if he wants to pay for my bills, oh, okay, fuck it. Let's talk about you. Let's get interested. But you pay my bills? No, then go fuck yourself. I don't give a shit about you. Go keep living your fucking life. I don't give a shit. I don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck. No. You're fucking way loaded and living a fucking life of luxury for me to be giving too much of a shit about what the fuck you're doing with your life. I gotta take care of my own shit, and I gotta be worrying about my wife, my daughter, be worrying about my family. That's all I give a shit about right now, to be quite fucking honest. Like, oh, but don't you care about people? Like, in a general sense, yes. I mean, I don't want people to get hurt. Like, I fucking don't want this fucking war that's going on right now in Ukraine, but my feelings ain't gonna do shit about it. In my opinion, ain't gonna do shit about it either. It's a decision that's been handled by other people that have way more resources than I do. So whatever my opinion on the subject is, it won't do a lick of difference on what the fuck is going on in the world. The same thing goes that with my opinion doesn't have a dick or a lick of a difference on these people's lives. Having said all that, my dream was to be a father, to be a husband, and to love this person, because the things that I saw as a child, not to throw my dad or my mom under the bus, I've forgiven them, and let's say them, because, it takes two to tango, for their misjudgments. They're human beings, and you gotta show grace to people and let them know we don't all come out right out of the box knowing everything. We're gonna fuck up, and in some areas we're gonna fuck up less, and some areas we're gonna fuck up a lot. And then you take into account certain other elements that I will not brush upon, and you realize that, under the circumstances, they tried to do the best they could. They still fucked up, one more than the other. I'll let you guess. But being that as it may, it happened. I can't change the past. I can't change what they did. All I can learn is from the mistake. And in my case, what I learned is that don't drink. Don't open that fucking door. Don't open that shit. In the case of my dad, he loved to drink, and this is something that he won't deny it either. He loved to drink, and he fucking came hammered, wasted at home, and shit went down. And the shit in question, I'm not gonna talk about that. There's fucking water under the bridge. And the important thing is that he and mom made peace before she died with it. And she let us know her perspective about it also on her deathbed. She told us a lot of shit. Things that is going to stay internal for the time being, because this is not about her airing dirty laundry out there, but she was very forthcoming on her deathbed about certain things that we kind of ignored or were not aware of. Saying all this just to say, I've learned from the mistakes that my parents made, both of them. as confessed by themselves. Not that I judge them. It's just that these are things that they said themselves. Man, I wish I can take this back. You know, things that they said that they can take back. And I tried to learn from those mistakes and try not to repeat it. So I went to marriage with a clear thought that this, I'm going to do my best not to fuck it up in this manner. Now, have I fucked it up in other manners? Probably. But I ask my wife every day. I do this not because I doubt in myself, it's because I want to keep accountability to myself. I ask her, like, am I a good husband? Am I a good father? Am I doing everything that you guys need? Do you guys need more from me? Am I doing the right thing by you? Am I not fucking up? And by the grace of God, by the grace of whatever you want to believe in, she always tells me that I'm doing right by them, that I'm doing the right thing, that I have been a good husband, that I've been a good father, and that coming from her, not from my determination, not me trying to fool myself with bullshit, but her telling me that means so much to me. That means the world to me. That means that I'm doing the right thing by them, that I'm being responsible. Because that is one thing, like, I'm a fuck up. I'm a natural born fuck up. I fucked up a bunch of things in life. I've fucked up so many things in life that it's unbearable to even keep account by now. But one thing that have done my best not to fuck up is this, my marriage. I want to keep that woman happy. And being over 7 months now that we've been separated, that we've been apart from each other. I mean, with a little reconciliation we had past last month when I went there. This has been like the ultimate test on our marriage, but again, 15 years almost together. It's not been, this is not just another issue. I believe in God that we have survived. And I'm saying all of this is because, like, to pump myself up, and if you're listening out there, like, pump yourself up too. Like, just look at your life and look up the fuck ups you did, and acknowledge the fuck ups because they're good teachers, but also acknowledge the good shit you've done in life. Acknowledge, like, do what I do, like, go to a review board with the people around you, like, am I a good person? Have I done right by you? Have I been there for you? Am I, like, and hear from them. Don't hear from yourself, because you can bullshit yourself all the fucking you want. You can say all the shit in the world to yourself and, like, fool yourself into thinking that, oh yeah, I know, yeah, I'm a good guy. Like, bullshit. You don't know. You really don't know. Like, I don't know. I really don't know. But to hear from her lips, again, my wife, and also hearing it from my little girl, that brings a level of satisfaction to me, and also helps me into making the next level decisions that need to be made in my life. And I think today, as I record this, it's a monumental day in my life, like, because I've been reminded that just because things look a certain way now doesn't mean that they have to stay this way. Like, you decide when change happens. Like, a year ago, I had no fucking clue that I was going to be in this country. A year ago, I was, like, working my job normally, taking care of my daughter normally, picking up my wife after work. I believe that by this time last year, she got mugged. That really fucking sucked. But we were there together, and there was something. But now, look at me. Now I'm here in the States trying to make a future for ourselves. And now I see that, because for the longest time since I've been here, it was very hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. But today was a day of realization that, yeah, not only is there a light at the end of the tunnel, I'm actually close to finishing this goddamn tunnel. Like, I was just grinding it out. Maybe I didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel because I just had my head to the ground. Like almost like paving a road with my head, grinding through the floor. Not without realizing that, man, I'm almost there. And what am I saying? That I got things done? No, but I'm close to the end of the tunnel. Why? Because now I realize that I have power to change things. I have decisions that I can make that can change things for the better or for the worst. Now, I can keep doing the same shit over and over again, but if you heard I think it was Einstein that said the definition of insanity is doing the exact same thing, expecting different results. So, I guess it's time for a change of tactics, I guess. So, I'm sorry that I've gone through a lot of personal shit here and been kind of vague about it, but I'm happy, and also I'm happy because of acquaintance of ours, of my wife and I's. We got a good news on his life. He was scared something happened to a family member of his, and that family member now is okay. So I'm happy about that as well. So I'm gonna leave it up to here. I think I shared enough. Let me get some water. Water. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it to there. Just to remind you all that the website huskyragboopod.com is there, where you can get all the other older podcasts. Social media, Husky Bamboo Pod, at Husky Bamboo Pod, Instagram and Twitter. And you can also check my personal account at that Ariel Duran on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I'm kind of like non-present now. I mean, I still have it, but I am choosing not to use it for reasons. But there. That's all my social media accounts. On the, I believe, no, I don't think on the website is there information there. Anyways, this has been the Husky by Boo podcast number 63. This has been your Husky by Boo Ariel, and wishing you all the best in whatever the heck you're doing on your day. Take care. Bye.